Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsung Kong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dubden Dorshi. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the group practice today. Namo, the greatly loving and compassionate Avalokitesvara Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. Sumo, Tanchen Gacho, Dubden City, Dubden Kama, all Dharma masters, Dharma lecturers, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma teaching assistants, all disciples present here over the internet. Good evening, everyone. How do you do?
Hola amigo, que quiero mucho. Sugoi, ichiwa, kimochi, yumi, yapi, purin purin, konbanwa.
Those were greetings in different languages. Today, I got a bill. A bill for the hospital fees. And total $230,000 US. 230,000 US. It's suffering enough to be hospitalized. As soon as you enter the hospital, wow, you would know. You would not dare to go in there again. We just drank water, liquid, no food. I lost about 10 kilograms. That's about 22 pounds. And now the bill is 230,000 US. This is America. I don't want to say anything more. Therefore, remember, your body is very important. Your health is very important. In America, insurance also very important. Nobody would know what will happen to you.
身体不能自主。
You can't control your body.
就会讲到《楞严经》
It will be talked about in the Surangama Sutra.
本来钱财是身外之事，
Properties and wealth
在美国生活，
are belongings outside your body, but living in America,
如果身上没有钱，
if you have no money, no insurance,
怎么活下去？
how can you live? How can you survive?
你身上没有钱，你自己本身又没有什么保险，
And then if you have no insurance,
开车你至少
like driving,
车子要有保险，
you should have car insurance.
身体方面还有很重要。
And about the body, it's also very important
保险
to have insurance,
保险
life insurance.
就觉得美国生活不容易。 你没有保
It's not easy to live in America without an insurance.
险，
Your wealth can disappear in an instant.
进去也不到1个月，
I was there less than a month,
就要23万。
and it already costs $230,000 US.
所以活在这世界上也不容易。
Therefore, it's not easy to live in this world.
我们这个出家的弟子，在家的弟子，
So ordained
注意
disciples as well as lay disciples, you should pay attention to
如果没有保险，
the importance of insurance. If you have no insurance
保险公司不赔偿，
and the insurance company does not cover it, then you will be in trouble, in big trouble. That's why we should remember to still get rich.
保护，
Get rich.
保护，保护。没有保护的话，这一下子
Because without any wealth, in that instant, everything would be gone.
简单举个例子，
Let me give you a simple example. Every time I rise to the Dharma throne,
学习的
whether at the Seattle Temple or the Rainbow Temple, they make offering to Grandmaster
玩烧神，
for $1,000.
要几年才能够有23万？
Just count how many years that would be to make 230,000.
1 week took one time, one solid. How many years we have it?
So how many years? So it's not easy to live in this world.
钱财是身外事，
Wealth and possessions
身体有毛病的
are outside your body.
身内事。
But if you are sick or you have ailments, then that's the issues about you or in you. You have to pay. So remember, the body is important. Wealth is also important. Money is important too. You all should know that you have insurance coverage. It's important. Like the Medicare. Our monastics, on average, are already reaching higher age, and they all need insurances. So the abbot, the responsible person, should pay attention, because when you receive a bill, you would turn green. I was in a good mood, and then it would drop below 0. The weather today, yesterday it was sunny and a nice day, and today it was cloudy and rainy and cold. At first we didn't need any of this cover, but now I have to, and I'm wearing short sleeves. So suddenly the weather turned cold. The same with the human body. I was very rarely to be sick before 79. Only in my 80s that I entered into a hospital. And then I realized that the hospitals are borderline hell. Borderline. I hope you all are healthy and happy. That's my revelation. Insurance is very important. Every one of us should have that, because you never know what will happen to you. Now let's do the Q&A. A question from Taiwan, Lianhua Zhonghan. Amitabha. Grand Master, at the Homa ceremony, the MC will say, all participants please chant the Homa Min Deities mantra, and those present at the ceremony will receive a direct empowerment from the lineage guru. However, if disciples online follow along and chant the Min Deities mantra but have not received the empowerment, would this constitute a violation such as transgressing or stealing the Dharma? With gratitude to Living Buddha Lian Song's teaching, your disciple respectfully pray that the Buddha remain in the world to turn the great Dharma wheel.
线上的同门
So, violation of transgressing or stealing Dharma.
在场的同门跟线上的同门
So, participants present
业法罪跟道法罪，就是说在场的同门当然是
of course, they are okay, but
他是讲说线上的同门跟着唱诵主
the disciples online
没有灌顶
following along chanting
罪，
the deity's mantra, but they don't have the empowerment. Is there a violation of the precept
我认为
of stealing the Dharma?
现在
In my opinion, the technology is advanced.
当然没有网络
In the past, of course, we have no internet
在线上不在线上，
or online or offline.
我是认为你只要是在线上，
In my opinion, as long as you're online,
你在一起同学，
that's the same as if you're here practicing together.
你跟着念
And you follow chanting the deities, the yidams mantra, that is not transgressing the Dharma or stealing the Dharma. That's fine.
而且密教里面还有一点，
And one more point in Tantric Buddhism, as long as you have the heart or the intent,
你就是在外蒙古，
even if you're in the outer Mongolia or Russia
在乌克兰，
or Ukraine
在更遥远的地方，
or even further remote places in the North Pole,
你只要在线上，
as long as you're online, that's as if you are together practicing and you can chant the mantra. And
自受灌顶，
one more thing in Tantric Buddhism is to give yourself empowerment. What is that?
虽然没有亲自，
Self-empowerment.
根本上是灌顶，
Although you have not received the empowerment from your lineage root guru or other masters,
但是你实在是住得太远，
but you live in a very far away place.
但是你可以在网络上可以看得到，
But you can see on the internet.
现在网络是
Now the internets are everywhere.
很远的地方，你没有办法
Even in remote places, you cannot come personally
自受灌顶是这样的，
to the venue. So
够的经费
self-empowerment is that they do not have enough resources to come to Seattle to receive the empowerment
像在非洲，
in their own country, in Africa.
他们在网络上看到
And they watch
这个密
on the internet and they have the interest in Tantric Dharma and they pray to the Yidam, the main deity, to give them the empowerment.
后，本尊会显现给他们，
Sometimes the Yidam, the main deity, will appear and give them an empowerment or give the empowerment in dreams.
有时候在意念当中，
And sometimes in their thoughts or in their mind
有
stream.
时候有秘密的灌顶，
Sometimes the secret empowerment.
在无形之中
Inadvertently,
给他灌顶，
without lineage root guru, without masters giving them an empowerment,
让灌顶，
but they have received the empowerment. in that way. That's called the self-giving empowerment. So you give empowerment to yourself. As long as your heart and mind have received the empowerment and can feel it, that's also an empowerment. So that's why there's the so-called self-giving empowerment in Tantric Buddhism. You have no money to come to Seattle, you have no time to come to Seattle, or no ability. But you truly wish to get an empowerment. I remember one time there's an empowerment like this in Tantrayana. There was a master in a huge venue attended by tens of thousands of people and could not give empowerment individually. So, as people entering into the venue, he asked everyone to have a bottle of water, to buy a bottle of water. And then he asked everyone to visualize the main deity, the Yidam, and visualize the empowerment water to enter into your bottle of water. And then you open the cap of the bottle of water. And then you sprinkle a few drops on your head, and that's the same as empowerment for everyone. That has been done, and everyone received empowerment. So, for those living in a very remote place, you can give yourself an empowerment, and that's not considered a violation of stealing or transgressing the Dharma. Because Tantric Dharma nowadays, in the modern days, is different from the past. In the ancient time, Tantric Dharma was only transmitted one-on-one. Only 4 years. That was when it was all very secret, but not anymore now. Now it's widely publicized. Because in the past, only me, one person, and another person receiving. So you give Dharma teaching only to one person, not even two. So back then, Tantric Dharma was very secretive. But nowadays, it's widely available. Like on the internet, you can see the mantra, the mudra, the sound of the mantra. So as long as you have the heart and the intent, then you can chant the mantra and you can receive the empowerment. But if you can come, you have the qualification to come, then you should come. But if you cannot, it's okay. So nowadays, this does not apply anymore about transgressing and stealing the Dharma. That was obsolete now. Not applicable anymore. So it's okay. So disciples attending online, you can chant together with everybody. And if you have the heart and mind to receive the empowerment and you close your eyes, you visualize the empowerment and the main deity appears and gives you an empowerment, then that is called the self-giving empowerment. About the remote empowerment, say if you're not confident about the self-giving empowerment and you're not sure, so you can send a letter to True Buddha Foundation and ask for a remote empowerment. So once you receive the remote empowerment, of course you are empowered. You have the empowerment. Like Jajilamu, Sudden Wealth Secret Practice, many disciples ask for remote empowerments. Every day we receive many letters and requests for the remote empowerment. So I kept chanting the mantra and giving the remote empowerment to those requesters. So there's in-person empowerment, remote empowerment, self-giving empowerment. So Tantric Dharma nowadays is open, and not that many that are very secret except the very special Dharma practices. Like for the second and third level empowerment or the highest great perfection empowerment. Those are very special and has to be especially transmitted person to person, but not for the general Dharma. Now can be available on the internet very easily. Now do you understand? So this transgressing the Dharma or stealing the Dharma are not applicable anymore, because Tantric Dharma is no more a secret these days. In the ancient time, there was a statement that any place where you can see the ocean, you cannot practice Tantric Dharma. Why was that said? Because in Tibet, there was no ocean. You cannot see any ocean. Can you see? So in Tibet, how can you see any seas or oceans? So back then, when Tantric Dharma was widespread in Tibet, they said that Tantric Dharma cannot be practiced in places where you can see these seas or oceans. Today we practice Avalokitesvara, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, who is truly great. Read the Tibetan history annal discovered by Atisha the Venerable inside the pillars of the Ramoche temple. That's the writings, the inheritance writings of Songzhan Kangpo, the King Songzhan Kangpo. It's called Zhu Jian Shi in Chinese. It's the meaning, the literal translation is the history inside the pillars. That was extracted by Guru Atisha. There was an article that was written by King Songzhan Kangpo that he himself wrote that he was a manifestation of Avalokitesvara of Mount Potaloka. Because when Sakyamuni Buddha was in India spreading Buddha Dharma, it did not reach Tibet or Nepal. Tibet. At that time, Amitabha Buddha asked Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva to speak to Sakyamuni Buddha. You should go to Tibet to spread Buddha Dharma. And Sakyamuni Buddha said,
只是在印度，
his task was only in India.
其实上不属于
It does not include Tibet.
释迦牟尼佛认为，西藏
Sakyamuni Buddha
应该由你观世音菩萨去
regarded that Tibet is under the responsibility of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva.
来不掉。
So Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva cannot get away with it.
化身成为松赞干，
So he transformed
藏的藏
into King Songtsan Kampo, the Tibetan king.
在那里面呢，有个吞米，一
And
个大臣叫吞米，
he had a minister called Tumi.
前面的
Actually, a very long name, but just in short, Tumi.
藏文是吞米到了印度，
In
是学习梵文，
Tumi went to India to learn Sanskrit
藏文所最需要的文字，
and brought the script
就是现在的藏文。
into Tibet and became the Tibetan language or script. So actually the Tibetan script was from India or Sanskrit script because Tibet back then did not have any script, written script.
松赞干布呢，他起了一个
The king Songtsan Kampo married
六
the most famous 6 queens.
一个就是尼妃，
One
尼泊尔的公
is Nepalese princess
妃至尊，
Bidkurti,
尼妃是白度母的化身，
and she's an emanation of White Tara.
汉妃
And the Chinese princess or Tang from the Tang dynasty, Princess Wencheng,
化身，
she's an emanation of Green Tara.
汉妃就是这两个妃子是最有名。
These 2 are the most famous. Now, if you visit Lhasa and visit the Jokang temple,
瓷尊它盖起来，
that was built by Princess Birkurti from Nepal, and the Ramochi temple was built by Princess Wencheng from the Tang or Chinese dynasty.
另外还有4个妃子，
And he had 4 more queens that were quite famous. One from Mongolia,
是阿里的李妃，是
and a princess from Ali, Leaf, the consort Li,
妃子，
and from Xiangxiong,
一个是象雄，一个是
from Ali, from Mongolia.
4个妃子，就是4供养你的化身。
And these 4 queens were the emanation of the 4 offering goddesses or
最
girls
主要的是
or maidens, 4 offering maidens.
就是文成，
But the most important ones are the White Tara and Green Tara, who was the Princess Wencheng, and White Tara, the Nepalese Princess Birkurti.
是观世音菩萨。
Those 2 were the most famous, and King Songtsan Kampo was a manifestation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So that book in Chinese, 注见词, was published by Gansu, Mingzhu Publishing,
姓
Gansu, China. The translator's last name
金，
was called Lu Qianjin, the same family name as me.
金是军队的金，
Oh, Lu Qianjun.
不是千金小姐。
That's a homophone.
看到这一本以后，你就
After reading this book, you would understand the whole Tibetan history, how it came about.
他们人 藏人是怎么样子开始，
and how the Tibetan people were started or originated,
一切的文化。
and their culture and civilization.
那个时候啊，
At that time,
他们那边也是懂得风水地理的，就是文成公主。
the one who understood feng shui and geomancy was Princess Wencheng.
风水全部带进了土。
So she brought feng shui geomancy into Tibet from China. She was incredible. She was quite remarkable. Princess Wencheng.
所以你看这本书啊，
So when you read this book from beginning to end,
这个吐蕃的这个历史，
then you would know about the whole history of Tibet and
印度的
India, also Indian history.
在，
It's included in there.
因为这是松赞干布本身所写
That was written by King Songtsan
的
Gampo
记载所写，
in writing,
招式的注
and it was concealed, hidden inside the pillars inside the Ramoji temple, and was discovered by the Venerable Guru Atisha. That was from long ago.
这世界
So
其实不大，
the world is actually very small, but it's also not very big.
人活在这世界上不是很长，
Jokang Temple is Princess Wencheng. So human life is not very long, but it's also not very short.
但从书里面你可以了解到很多的事情。
But from books you would learn about a lot of things
他的种族
about the past
释迦牟尼佛
Tibetans,
神的主，
their tribe, and Sakyamuni Buddha,
描写的很清楚。
and the clan, how they came about. It was
讲是
written very clearly in that book.
在
We could say that's historical
所写
annals
里面的包含
that's written and left behind by King Songtsan Gampo. It includes lots of information in there.
会很清楚。
If you have read that book, you would be very clear about it.
我对于这个《楞严经》里面的文字
About the words used in the Surangama Sutra,
不是很特别喜欢它
I don't quite
的文字，
like it.
它
It's quite disagreeable
故意在刁难
because it's kind of pretentious,
方式来解释。
make it obscure and difficult.
我们沙婆世界
But let me use my own wordings.
五浊世界，
It's written in the Amitabha Sutra that our world is the evil world of five turbidities. And what are the five turbidities?
我不
But
是很
these explanations are not satisfying. The translators were problematic.
译的这个文字有问题，
So
我的解释跟他
the translation was problematic. So my explanation would not be exactly the same as the text.
也随你们。
So it's up to you whether you want to listen to me or you want to read it yourself.
首先呢，
First,
文字是这样子写，
the text
经里面写到，
says
对阿难讲，
in the Surangama Sutra, Sakyamuni Buddha told Ananda, Venerable Ananda, you see the empty sky
根本无穷尽，
or the cosmic space is boundless.
空见部分，
and space and seeing are not distinguished. What you see, that's called seeing. But you cannot see the cosmic space. It's nothing in there.
你所看到的不过是在虚空当中里面。
You just see what's appearing or the transformations of earth, water, fire, and wind in the sky or in the cosmic space, but not the space itself. So space has no substance.
有见无觉，
And seeing has no awareness.
但你又感觉到什么呢？
So you have seen it, and what do you feel?
你这样子空跟你看到
And
互相交缠在一起。
so the space and what you see intertwine and falsely give rise to formation. This is the first layer called the turbidity of the kalpa. Kalpa.
就是第一种这个
That's the first kind of the 5 turbidities.
劫着。
Turbidity of the kalpa.
什么叫做劫着？
And what is the turbidity of the kalpa?
我不这样子认为。
I don't think this.
我是认为地震。
I think earthquake.
地震很多，这里地震那里。
Recently, there are earthquakes here and there.
就是劫着。
That's the turbidity of the kalpa.
这几年很多水灾。
These few years, we have lots of floods here and there. All kinds of floods, lots of floods. Great flood here and downpour here and there. That's the turbidity of the kalpa. The world is not at peace. The cosmic space, the sky is at peace. And then volcanic eruptions here and there. And windstorm, all of a sudden, there's a windstorm. It was all fine. And then with the strong wind, they toppled the trees and damaged the house, the cars, and then the tornadoes. That's the turbidity of the kalpa. Earth, water, fire, and wind creating disasters in the sky. That's what we call the turbidity of the kalpa. Amitabha Sutra mentions that our Saha world is the evil world of 5 turbidities. And the first one is the turbidity of the kalpa. Don't you find there are a lot of floods here and there? Lots of earthquakes? And there was a prediction that in the future, Philippines, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, after an earthquake, they would join together. Yeah, it was a prediction somehow. That in the earthquake, they would join Philippines, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, right? And the movement of the earth crust. That's also the turbidity of the kalpa. Yi Guan Dao often talks about 3 periods. The era of the Dipamkara Buddha is the Dharma propagation era. And the era of Sakyamuni Buddha is... The era of Dipamkara Buddha
释迦牟尼佛时代是弘扬期，
Qingyang Qi, Sakyamuni Buddha, Hongyang
现
Qi,
在他讲是
and the era of Maitreya Buddha is the white
时代，所以是
flag,
这是一贯
and Sakyamuni Buddha is red, and Dipamkara is the blue.
三期
That's the Iguan Tao, the sect Iguan Tao who believes in Maitreya Bodhisattva,
释迦
Maitreya Buddha.
五节
And Sakyamuni Buddha was talking about the 5.
其中这个就解读五浊啦。释迦牟尼佛讲五浊，第一个
Talking about the 5 turbidities.
解浊
The first one is the turbidity of the kalpa.
结束的结，结束已到。
In Taiwanese, it's like, well, actually it's not the kalpa. The disasters.
灾啊，
Disasters.
灾难这里，水灾，
So all kinds of disasters,
那个水灾啊，到处世界各地都有
like floods,
叫
all kinds of disasters. So that's the turbidity of calamities, I guess, or due to calamity.
第二种
The turbidity due to calamity.
我四大为体，见闻觉知，
And the second one,
永定留爱，水
your body is formed by the 4 elements as a substance.
相持万种，
So hearing, awareness, and knowing become obstructed and confined.
你眼睛所看到，耳朵所听到，
So what your eyes see, what your ears hear,
听到，
what your body feels,
知道，
and what you know,
跟你的身体，地水火风，
and your body, earth, water, fire, and wind combine together
产生了这种污浊的，
and produce the phenomena of turbidity.
就叫见浊。
And that's called the turbidity of views, the second. The first one is the turbidity of calamities,
世界
which is global, like for the whole world.
属于你个人，
And the seeing, hearing, awareness, and knowing, that's individual.
那现在很多小孩子迷一个 game，
Many young people nowadays are obsessed with games.
不懂网络，
I never get on the internet and I don't know about it.
其他什么我都不，
I only know how to make phone calls and not anything else.
所以上网我也不会。
So I don't know how to get on the internet.
那人家讲说，啊，
And
有一个小姐跟我讲，
there was a lady that told me, "Dear Master,
你给我你的耐好吗？
can you give me your line?"
我的耐，
My line? What does that mean?
我的耐给你，你的耐给我。
So I can line you and you line me.
有一个小姐是这样子跟我讲，但是
And we can line each other.
糟糕了，
And I
我不是
said,
现代人，
"No, I am not. I'm not a modern man. I'm an ancient man.
我不会上网，
I don't know about internet. I don't know how to get online. And I have no line. I have a cell phone.
是还没有给我，
Was given by Hanifa.
我都不知道。
And I don't even know my own phone number.
我可以 call 别人，别人 call 不进来，因为我全部
I can call others, but nobody can call me because I always turn it off.
一定要检查手机啊，一看
Now,
手机是空的，
passing through immigration, when they check the cell phone, everything is empty. And what kind of person is this? an ancient person.
耐气我就不知道。
So what does it mean about line? Line each other.
我说我不懂，
I said, no, I don't know that.
真的不会啊，我不是假的不会，是真的不会。
I'm not pretending. It's true. It's real that I don't know.
我根本没有时间
I have no time
手机啊，
to check my phone.
所以诈骗集团不用 call，
So the scammers
不接电话，
have no need to call me because I never accept any phone calls.
但是你有见闻觉知啊，你看到
But by having
上的
seeing, hearing, awareness, and knowing,
迷住了那个
after you see something
入气
and you become obsessed by it,
迷
and then you
有了，
get too much into it,
你耳朵听到，你就进入
Then
迷境里面，
you have entered into
到手机
a delusion or confusion.
迷住了，
So, say if you see cell phone and then you become obsessed by it or entranced by it, and then they cannot control themselves.
那就是见闻
That's seeing, and then hearing, and then feeling,
知道
and knowing.
觉知
So that's called seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing.
合在一起，
Combined with your body
而污染了你自己本身的
and would
真心，
defile your own wondrous luminous true mind.
见着
And that's called the turbidity of views.
释迦牟尼佛讲的五浊
That's the second.
浊世界、娑婆世界是五浊，
So Sakyamuni Buddha said the Saha world is the evil world of five turbidities. The first one is the turbidity of calamities or turbidity due to calamities. And then the second one, turbidity due to views.
污染了你的妙明真心，
Then you contaminate your own wondrous luminous true mind, your own yourself, and you cannot see your own Buddha nature anymore. You only see the surface.
这是两种。
So that's the second.
爸爸问小明
Dad asked Xiaoming,
你长大了，你梦想是什么？
when you grow up, what is your dream?
我要改变世界。
And Xiaoming replied, I want to change the
爸爸跟
world.
小明讲，
And
改
Dad
变
told
世界一定
Xiaoming,
要在结婚以前。
if you want to change the world, it has to be done before marriage.
爸爸继续讲，
And Dad continued,
因为结婚以后，
because after marriage,
你的电视频道
you can't even change the television channels at your own home.
这是笑话。
That's a joke.
这个生物老师在课堂上
Biology teacher in
非洲
class
的野猪描述的许
described the wild pig from Africa very clearly in details.
都在打瞌睡，
And then the teacher looked around the class and all the students were drowsing
心中佛就很生气。
and he got very
你
angry.
们要看着我啊！
You have to look at
你
me.
们怎么知道非洲野猪？
If you don't look at me, you don't know how the African wild pig looks like.
老师也会讲错话，
So the teacher too sometimes speak wrongly that you would not know about African wild pig or if you don't look at me.
昨天逛夜市，
Yesterday, I went to the night market.
在美国是没有，
We don't have night market in
在
America.
台湾有 夜市，
but in Taiwan we do
这是晚上的市场，
night
晚上的
markets.
市场夜市，看见一个瘸子在路边乞讨，
And I saw a cripple
就
begging
过去
on the side of the
走
street,
他的500元，
and I felt pity and took away his $500.
就过去拿走他的500元，后来追了我2条街，
And then he chased after me for 2 blocks.
我就是这么好的人，
See,
治好人家的腿，也才
I had
500元。
cured his crippled legs for only $500. And for a doctor, it would cost tens of thousands of dollars to cure his cripple because he was supposed to be crippled. That was fake.
看不太清楚，
It wasn't so clear.
雨一直下着，
It
精
kept
神病院的
raining,
病人纷纷冲进
and the mental patients in the psychiatric hospital ran into the rain.
无奈的
Let's take a shower.
医生回头，
And the doctor
身边有一个
just shook his head, and then when he turned around, there was a patient behind him
你站着，
that was just standing there very quietly
你为何不
and stood still. So the doctor asked the patient, "Why didn't you take a shower?"
跟他们不一样？
And he smiled lightly and said, "I'm different from them. They were also
医生
dumb."
顿时很激动，
And the doctor was really moved.
终于
He was very
就治好了。这个时候他讲，
excited. Someone is cured. But then he continued, "I'm just waiting for the water to get warm."
一样也是精神病。
So he was still sick.
华姐呀，这我们世界上的人，
I find people in this world
不只是有这个五浊世界，
not only about the 5 turbidities,
五浊，所谓劫浊。
the turbidity due to calamities, the turbidity due to views, and then the turbidity due to mental
每一个人都
issues,
有点精神病。
because everyone has some mental disorder, more or less. Om Mani Padme Hum.